Okay, right, we've got a couple youth matches to play. Youth League, and let's check this youth team out. So I think subs-wise, the general thing we want to achieve here is just to bring on Letty, Baines, Alpaslan. That's the general thing we want to achieve. So one downside of signing this other central midfielder is that it's basically blocking appearances from this Werner Wiese. But I think that's okay. Alright. I guess we can check our weekly league. 3-1. Right, so someone else's, there is another 3-1 team. We've got a bit better goal difference, so we could be pushed here all the way. So I think if we want to win this league, so I think we I think we just want to look to try to win as much as we can, which it's sort of easier with the youth, to be honest, to do that for a few reasons. I think one, because without there's no injuries or anything, so there's less to juggle. There's a lot less skill involved, really, I think, on the whole. You just need the players that are, mostly you just need a setup and players and whatever that are better than, I don't know. I'm just finding it a bit easier. Honestly, it might just be that we're just more ahead of the curve, youth team wise, than the seniors team in regards to the how good we are versus the opposition. It easily could have been a goal, but that's also all that they've created. I don't think I'll panic just yet. I don't know if panic's the word, but I think it's more just like, I don't think I'll make a change just yet. I think I'll just let it be a little bit longer, because we have seen a bit from our team. We were creating a bit attacking wise. It's a great chance. I don't know. Maybe he should. I've got a thought there. So yeah, maybe we should be starting like La Parmentia should be the MLC with the attack midfielder role, and maybe our youth player should be starting instead. I mean, our 16-year-old central midfielder, and Sengiorgi should be on the bench, maybe. We'll leave Valai out there. I think he's certainly better than the other central defenders that are the one that we could bring off the bench, even if he's at 70% condition. I think if he drops below 70, that may not be true, but he'll get a bunch of condition back at half time anyway, So I think one of my main concerns here is that probably, again, the poacher feels a little bit too... Oh, that was a good spot. The poacher feels a bit... Some matches, it feels a little bit like a luxury. This is one of them. Like, we don't have enough players to sort of build the attack up or whatever. Like, we kind of just need... No, this is a good spot. Oh... But yeah, I wonder if it should be the other striker starting. Anyway, we get away with it all. Yeah, so my thinking was maybe this guy should be the attacking one. He's got really bad long shots, but the thing is the finishing and composure is much better than this guy, and I feel like it's more important probably that we finish the chances that are easier and fall inside the box than we get the odd long shot. So that's my thinking. So it's for future matches. Maybe this guy moves to he becomes the attacking midfielder, and this guy is just the central one. Maybe we'll see. Not 100% sure, because obviously the other guy still has all that tackling, which is useful, and it looks like he's probably going to need to be subbed off every game anyway. So Baines will basically get to play every match regardless, naturally. I think it's time for that sub. this point, I just kind of feel like I've been thinking about changing stuff, but I do just kind of feel like there's enough time left here that I feel there's a reasonable chance we'll get a second goal still. Gonna sub off Santos, I think. He's decent aerial ability actually. He's probably in the box, but whatever, I'll just do it. I'm just hitting the ball. I think we've got loads of pause time. This match feels like we just want to make sure we get the calls right to win. Just going to switch them to fullback. It's just a gut feel. It's not based on. I just feel at this point. And we just sort of look to not concede, and yes, we might end up inviting a bit of pressure and all that. So, but I've not spotted anything specific. I think it's just mostly I don't feel. Maybe it's a bit more about what I haven't spotted. I haven't felt like our fullbacks have been. They have put them under some pressure by being up and getting the interceptions, but not as much as normal. So I feel like we haven't quite given up as much as just getting that value by him being back to make that tackle there, and ultimately getting possession of the ball here. For us. Alright, we get the sub. I think at this point we're just going to have to sub off this guy. We just want to swap them around. So yeah, I mean, pretty straightforward win, I'd say. I think I hold general concerns about whether this youth team would just work better. Where is it? If we didn't have the poacher role, I don't know how much of a luxury that is, to be quite frank. It's probably too much, especially when he's only got 2 goals. I think that's fair to say, especially with the role. Doesn't help with the build up and stuff much. I think it's not enough. So I think what I'm going to do is just swap Gutierrez for Letty and just swap this role to also be a striker. It's probably better overall. We'll play another match. I mean, it's kind of hard with these things because it's like a lot of cause and effect. Like, we're not getting enough from him per se, but the fact that he has that role and isn't being involved in the build-up so much, and he isn't really that involved, it's also a key reason why, no doubt it is, it's a key reason why Supic has done so well is because he has, he's doing so much, and now will basically be more like dividing the build-up load between the two strikers, which sounds good, but it's not really that good if you want one of them to be doing it a lot more than the other one, which I think is kind of true for us. But we will just... I feel like the youth situation overall is comfortable enough that we're just going to have to discover this stuff in the actual league matches, because if we don't really have time to play any friendlies, and if we did, it's the seniors that need way more attention than the youth team. The youth team is kind of cruising, to be honest. So straight away, like, you can see, like, obviously Super scored that goal, but it was set up by Letty, and the reason why it was set up by Letty is because our team was because he didn't have the poacher role. So our team he's looking to get involved in the build up, and he was involved in the build up. So so that's effectively why we made the change, was to score a goal like that, to score that goal, or to score goals like that. Or just for him to just generally be involved more in the build-up. That would hopefully lead to... Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm not saying that like you would expect to do a change like that and score a goal within 5 or 6 minutes or whatever every single time. But that is also why we did the change. Was just for him to be more involved in the build-up, to hopefully lead to more goals like that. So I think that was like a long shot, and I think that was Letty, for example, rather than the poacher guy. And the poacher guy has really good long shots, and this guy not so good. That easily could have scored. We didn't quite check out how good this team is before the match, so we're not sure. It's probably less important to check that now, to be honest, than just focus on winning. Long shots, but he's involved there. That's why the wing, like De Jong, he's the right back. So that's an example of why we want these guys pushing up, to just keep them under pressure up here. Hopefully get the ball back. Didn't end up getting it in this occasion, but well, yet. Nope, we did, and there he is, picking it back up again. So the idea with those wing backs really is we don't necessarily, because you know they're all. Oh, that's a good pullback. McLeod. So that's an example of why we were saying before of like La Parmentia could be that role, because it's the shots that we wanted to score, like the one that he just scored, and this guy's got really bad finishing. So that he still scored it, obviously, because of close enough or whatever, but that's what we were talking about in the last match, that the chance, we want those types of chances to be scored consistently if they fall to that midfielder who's making those late runs into the box. So the wing backs do get involved a bit in the attacking play, but you know, not necessarily that much. I mean, they are DL and DR wing backs, and plus we're playing like a direct, fast tempo and stuff. So quite typically, the balls are launched forward, the attack's broken down, finish whatever before they can realistically contribute anyway. So they're mostly moving forwards though, just to create for when we lose possession, to sort of just pin them, to help pin the other team back. It's good to have a 2-goal lead in a game like this, because they've had a few shots, so it's possible they might score a goal, for sure. So having that 2-goal buffer is very good. So the opposite side of this whole Letty Gutierrez debate about the type of striker and whatever is just Letty's been way more involved, but he's kind of been wasteful as well. He did set up the first goal, but right at the start, and other than that, he's kind of been pretty wasteful. This is a great chance for them. Yeah. Like I said, they can score. So now that 2-goal buffer is hopefully we still score another one, but because now we're obviously like I said before, they can score one, but they can still score one more for sure. They've just done enough to be a little bit scared, you know. So, but we've also been doing a fair bit ourselves. So I definitely think at this point it's the better approach philosophically. At this point is like, yes, they may score one, so let's just get one more ourselves, type of thing. I feel like there's more chance we'll score than they'll score. I think that's the philosophy for now, at least. As we draw closer to the end of the match without that changing, we may just regress into trying to defend the lead and not care too much about scoring another one. Similar to last match, actually. That's what happened in the last match. Oh no, this is another fantastic chance. There you go. And all of a sudden, we need to score. I'm not going to sub off La Parmentia because I think he's still better than the youth player, even probably with these big deductions. Maybe I'm not 100% sure on that, to be honest. Let's do this up. You know what? I think I'm going to have to sub in Mackless just for this game because we want to try and win. I think he's just a little bit better. That is a great outlet ball. Honestly, I'm not quite sure what we even thinking here. I guess I'll just sub Aminu off a Placian and sub that striker as well. Oh, that was probably the chance. It was a great chance. Okay, I think that's game. It's a shame. I feel like we just missed a trick there. We should have started pressing earlier as well. Probably. Yeah, I definitely feel like that was winnable. We should have, because the second goal was very similar to the first one. He was just too fast for our defenders and went through. Potentially we should have reacted to that. And we were saying all along that they were a threat. I mean, it's hard. But just trying to quickly think if there's anything that... Because their wingers weren't really much of a threat. But I think that's because... Thing is, we didn't create that much, honestly, ourselves. I'm not 100% sure. I think that when we checked, we had like maybe 7 or 8 shots to their 3 when we were up 2-0. We were fairly confident at that point that we were more likely to score than they were, let alone them scoring 2. Now, that might have just been a bad call, to be honest. So, I mean, probably the correct move was to just change the fullbacks to be fullbacks instead of wingbacks. The DL and DR to be fullbacks. Probably should have done that. And that, having said that, you know, both of their goals were from going basically over the top because their striker got there first compared to our defenders. So yeah, interesting. I mean, I feel like on the whole, we will experiment for one more game with Letty at least. But yeah, it is pretty interesting that, like I said, maybe it's not good that he's involved in the build-up. I mean, he did help get that first goal, but wasn't heavily involved, to be honest. But that's the thing, like, he had 4 shots. I'm pretty sure at least 3 of those were long shots as well, which isn't good because he's got 14 long shots. And we're playing him instead of this guy who's got 55 long shots. So, yeah. I don't know. But probably we should have just gone more defensive when we had the 2-0 lead. We were saying we felt they were a bit dangerous. that they definitely could score. Probably should have just taken that a bit more seriously. It's probably just being overconfident, just because our youth team was generally doing really well. So yeah, I'd say that was a mistake, and also that they went route one, like through the middle both times. Both goals were over the middle. You know, probably we should have just rotated the defense a bit. We could have even brought off Letty or McLeod or whatever for an extra DC. That's something else we could have done. I feel like if we kept these fullbacks back and played the extra DC, they probably wouldn't get through us. We would probably not score ourselves at that point, but that's okay. That was probably the move to win. So to be clear, the move to win, I think, would have been to change the wing backs to be fullbacks, to sub McLeod for Alpaslan, and just play 5 at the back and the DM, and I think that would have just got us there. Yeah, well, like saying it would have invited a bit of pressure or whatever, but that's the thing. We were to some degree happy to invite that pressure in the end, because they actually scored the goals not from over-pressuring us, but just by playing the ball over the top. So but anyway, I think that's, like I said, I think it was just overconfidence for how good our team was generally doing. What's the issue? And that's not the worst issue, to be honest, being overconfident in your team, because they're doing really well. So I'm not going to stress too much about that. So yeah, cheers. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one.